Good evening, one and all. I'm happy and privileged to welcome you all to this webinar for youth conducted by We for Youth website on the topic Seizing Opportunities. I'm happy to introduce the speaker of today's webinar, Mr. James Melwyn. He did his BSc Computer Science from Bishop Peeper College, Trichy, and MBA from Christ University, Bangalore. At present, he is working as Strategy Analyst Senior in Akamai Technologies, Bangalore. He is a person who is very much interested in working with youth and students. Whenever he visits his alma mater, he used to interact with the UT students regarding their self-development and placement preparation. On behalf of the We for Youth team and the participants, I extend a cordial welcome to you, sir. A cordial welcome to all the active members of We for Youth team, Dr. Prema Joshua, Dr. Turin, and Ma'am Majila ma'am. Our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said, "My message especially to young people is to have courage to think differently, courage to invent, to travel the unexplored path, courage to discover the impossible and conquer the problems and succeed." I extend a warm welcome to all the youth participants of today's webinar who are going to fulfill the above words of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Once again, I welcome you all.
This is for the participants. I would like to bring to your notice that this is the YouTube channel We for Youth, which was started with the purpose to help you, the young people, to face the variety of challenges that come your way. Please visit our website, www.we4youth, and don't forget we4youth.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, We for Youth. Please do subscribe. We welcome you, sir, this evening. Thank you for being there and giving us your valuable time. Over to you for your wonderful message for each one of us gathered here.
Right. Thank you for the warm welcome. I am excited as well as privileged to be part of this webinar, and I thank all the organizers for having me here to share my 2 cents on seizing opportunities. Okay. So everybody who has come to this webinar is aware of the topic that we're going to discuss today, which is seizing opportunities. So let's get into it. But a minute before getting into this topic, so as introduced, now I am based out of Bangalore, and I have a young daughter. She's 1.5 years old, and then I live with my wife here. We are just 3 in this house. So when I was preparing for these for this sessions, especially seizing opportunities, this is a very generic session, but the best part was I was reminded of a number of things that I got to hear and see and then experience in my life, wherein people seized opportunities, or I heard stories about people seizing opportunities that created a lot of value for themselves and most especially for people around them. So it was a pleasant experience for me to prepare the session. So it's not just about this 1 hour, but the hours that I had spent on preparing this itself was a fascinating journey. So on that note, I really want to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And let's get into this topic. And also, for the participants, I assume that you will have a Q&A session at the end. So in case something comes to your mind, something is troubling, some data is not right, or you have some questions in some part of the presentation, feel absolutely free to note it down so that we can interact about that at the end of the session. So if you can wait patiently till the end, it will be really helpful so that it doesn't break the flow of the presentation. So with that, let's get into today's session. So what is the aim of this session? So I was thinking about it. So okay, seizing opportunity is something very, very generic, and it has broad ideas to it. So how do we know, or what do we present in this particular 30 minutes or 45 minutes that I have in my hand? So I had put something to aim for in this session. So there are a lot of challenges, that everybody goes through. Every single person that has joined this webinar can vouch, can sure say that they are going through some sort of challenge in life. ஏதோ ஒரு பிரச்சனை, ஏதோ ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில, ஏதோ ஒரு struggle கண்டிப்பா it will be there. So that challenge will always be part and parcel of life. It could be a situation, maybe a financial situation, or maybe the environment is not good, maybe abusive relationships or abusive work culture, something could be bad, or the education. Many a times we think that we are not really educated well, or we are not studying in organizations or institutions that are considered as tier 1 or which are supreme, and many times Indians, we think that because I studied in government school or because I studied in state board, maybe I'm not competitive, I cannot compete in this market. Or it could be family background. Maybe I was not born in a rich family, maybe I'm not born to educated parents, or XYZ. We have all these challenges in life, and these are truths, so nobody can change it. We all live in this. We all have some challenges around us. So what is the aim? Even though we have all these challenges in our life, everybody goes through challenges, and even though we have all these challenges in life, the aim is to be able to look for opportunities. Whatever the situation is, whatever the challenge is, whatever the struggle that we are going through, at the end of the session, if we get a mindset to look for opportunities around us, I guess that's what we're going to target today. Moving on. So even before we get into certain things of seizing opportunities, I want to set a sort of baseline, like who is a successful person? Everybody has some sort of idea about who a successful person is. We would have seen somebody, we would have heard about somebody, and thought that okay, that guy is successful, or that girl or that woman or that man is successful. So we have some sort of image formed in our mind about success, and there are a lot of images that the media and the world throws at us. And here is something that I have believed, and I've put it here. I've stolen it from a person, so I'm going to show it to you. Like, so this is what I feel who a successful person is. Peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you are capable. இது தமிழ்ல சிம்பிளா சொல்லணும்னா, என்னால எவ்வளவு முடியுமோ அதை நான் செஞ்சுட்டு அன்னைக்கு நைட்டு நான் நிம்மதியா தூங்கினேன்னா ஐ எம் a successful person. இது சொன்னது யாருன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, it is John Wooden. I'm intentionally not going to explain about him. People who are interested, who want to get something out of the session, note his name, go Google search, find out what he has done and who he is, and why his statement is so valuable. Also, to simplify this whole statement, you have n number of scenarios on a day-to-day basis. If you feel at the end of the day that every day or that day you gave your best, whatever came your way, you gave your best to handle that situation, to create value, to make a difference. And then when you go back to sleep, if you are happy, then you are a successful person. It isn't about money, it isn't about power, it isn't about fame. This is something that you would have learned in the last session as well, where Dr. Ann was referring to it. I'm repeating it so that we understand and believe who a successful person is. And especially for this youth, the media has corrupted our minds like anything, so that when we look at something flashy, something rich, we always think that they are successful, which is not true. A successful person can sleep happily and peacefully. You can take it to that, that small statement. That is more than enough to define a successful person. All right, so let's move ahead. Okay, so for seizing opportunities, I have a couple of examples to talk to you about, because I did not really want to bore you guys with some theory and gyan sessions. I'm going to talk about people who seized opportunities, and thereby we will learn the things that we ought to learn from either the situation or from their life. So these are not stories, these are history. So people who did and who are living it. All right. So the first example for seizing opportunities today is, so there was a guy in Bangalore. He was working in Bangalore in the year 2005. He was an IT employee. And as you all know, Bangalore has a lot of floating population. Floating means people who do not belong to Bangalore come here and work for IT. So if you look at Bangalore's population, majority are from outside state. They don't belong to Bangalore at all. So this guy was one such guy who was from Hyderabad, who had come all the way to Bangalore to work. He was working in an IT firm. And as is the case, with every guy who comes from his hometown, whenever there is a family function or a festival or something, he wants to head back to his home to be part of that family, function or event or whatever it is. So this guy also wanted to go back to his home to enjoy his Diwali holidays. Okay. At this point, I want to stop and then say, few people may already know this story. Take it as a refresher for people who have not heard it. Maybe you even want to take notes so that you understand and then reflect upon what you're learning today. Okay, so this guy is planning to go back to his house in Hyderabad for a Diwali holiday. So that is his plan. He has planned to go back, and he has asked for leave. He's applied. He's got everything approved. And so how does he usually travel? He usually travels in bus. So what he would do in 2005, not today. So in 2005, which is almost 16 years back, the way tickets were booked were very different. So what he used to do was he reaches out to a particular travel agent and he asks them, look, I want to travel from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Do you have a ticket? So what the travel agents usually do is they have tie-ups with various operators, bus operators, like for example, say KPN or APT or XYZ. So there are n number of operators in this particular route, Bangalore to Hyderabad. So that particular travel agent will contact all these operators to find out if there are any seats in any particular bus from Bangalore to Hyderabad, and then he books it for them. That was the usual case back in 2005. Now you can do everything online. That wasn't the case earlier in 2005. So this guy, went to his usual travel agent, hoping that he could get a ticket and then he can spend time with his family in Hyderabad for the Diwali. But unfortunately, he didn't get any ticket. So the travel agent guy, he called n number of operators, but nobody responded positively. But at the end of that conversation, the travel agent guy told, look, I have only tie-ups with few bus operators. So what you could do is you can reach out to some other travel agent and he might have tie-ups with some other operators, and there could be some ticket available so that you can travel. So this guy started contacting one travel agent after the other, and then he ended up contacting 9 different travel agents. He went to these travel agents hoping that he could get one ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad, but unfortunately he was so unlucky he couldn't get a ticket. And all his flatmates, so he was staying in an apartment in a flat. He had rented along with his friends, and everybody had left to their hometown, and he was left all alone. So it was so unlucky. He felt very sad about it. And on top of it, he had this guilt coming into picture. Guilt of what? He had reached 9 travel agents. What if he had reached the 10th travel agent and that guy could have booked a seat for him? So that guilt crept into his mind, saying, okay, maybe I should have visited one more travel agent. Maybe I should have tried even more so that I could have got a ticket. And that guilt crept in him. So the situation wasn't pleasant. So now, talking about seizing opportunities, first of all, we need to identify what the problem is. So there is a problem here. So as per this guy, he couldn't travel to his hometown. So that is his problem. So now there is there are two approaches that he can take. Either he can accept, okay, this is my fate. I couldn't travel to my hometown. I couldn't be happy with my family for Diwali. So let me stay in Bangalore and, waste away my time eating popcorn, going to movies, because in Bangalore you can do a number of things to keep yourself occupied. He could have done that. But the route that he chose was, he understood the problem, because there could be a bus which traveled from Bangalore to Hyderabad with a vacant seat. He saw that opportunity. He saw that it's mainly because we don't have one view of all the buses that are traveling from Bangalore to Hyderabad with all the seats listed in it. That is a problem, because that is why we have to reach out to a number of travel agents to check if all the seats are booked, and then in turn they reach out to the bus operators. So all these drama was happening, but even then at the end we are not sure if there was any bus that had any vacant seat left. So he understood the problem very clearly, and during that Diwali holidays itself, he saw the opportunity. Okay, this is a problem, because for the bus, if a bus had traveled vacant, somebody could have gone home and then spent their time happily. But that has been given up now. So he saw the problem, and then he also saw an opportunity. So there is a famous quote by Albert Einstein wherein he says, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. This holds true even today, and I can vouch it's going to remain true even for the future. Whenever there is a challenge, a situation wherein it challenges you, it puts you into some sort of strain or struggle, always remember there is an opportunity for you to create value out of it, to create something out of it. And this guy, he didn't remain at his house, wasting away his time. He immediately, set off to do something about it. So the first thing that he wanted to do was, he wanted to understand the operations. Okay, how does a bus booking really work? So what he did was, he went to the operator or the travel agent. He went to the travel agents to understand, okay, how do you do the bookings and all? And then they said, look, we call to different operators to find out if their bus has any vacant seat. So they look at their chart and then say, okay, out of 58 seats, we have 3 seats, and then they book for the customer. So that wasn't enough for this guy. So he wanted to understand how the bus operators work as well. So immediately he went to the bus operators as well, asking, them for information. But as you would know, not everybody will be willing to share about their experiences and their knowledge in their field. So there were many who just discarded him, like, why are you even asking this? I cannot waste time with you, and all those things. But there was one guy, as fate would have, there was one guy who was young, who was taking this, bus business or transportation business from his father. And he was an engineer. So he understood, what this guy was explaining, what the problem was. And then, he gave all the necessary information, like, look, how, this is how the bus industry functions. This is how we book tickets. This is how travel agents come into picture. This is how we make money. He gave all the information that was required for him. And that information was useful for this guy who missed going to his home to start building a software. Look, the chain of reactions. There was a problem. There was an ugly situation, a situation which was not so pleasant. He took that opportunity. He saw the problem, he saw the opportunity, and then immediately he started acting on it. So seizing opportunity is not just about looking for opportunities, it is about taking actions, necessary actions. It starts with you finding out the opportunity, but it has to be continued with the next steps. So this guy reached out to the operators. He understood how that whole process, the industry was working, and then he started to build the software and how to book tickets and everything. But again, another challenge came, because when he went to try and sell it to the operators, nobody were interested. Nobody was interested. Everybody said, look, why would I need computers? Because anyways, I'm booking tickets. So why would I really, buy a computer? And this guy was thinking, okay, maybe, they are not really interested to invest money in computer. Maybe they're looking it as a waste of money. because then they'll have to hire an operator who knows to operate, computer and then book tickets online and all. So nobody was willing to buy. And then, but again, as every achiever or everybody who looks out for opportunities, has this quality of persistence. This guy was really persistent. He wanted to really understand what the problem was. So when they were actually brainstorming, they realized, look, these bus operators invest so much of money on bus. Like, they even invest like, 1 crore on a bus to travel from one route to another. So from Bangalore to Hyderabad and Hyderabad to Bangalore, every bus operator should have at least 2 buses, which would cost them like 2 crores. So for somebody who could invest 2 crores, investing like 20,000 on a computer is not really an issue. So that is not the problem. So cost factor is not really an issue. So what is the problem there? And this guy understood quickly that as a customer, he missed traveling from Bangalore to Hyderabad to spend time with his family. That was a missed opportunity for him. For a customer, that was a problem. But for the guy who was operating the bus, it wasn't a problem, because during the Diwali holiday, all his tickets were booked and he was happy. That wasn't his problem at all. So they had to find out a problem for the bus operator. So when he was interacting with them, he understood all that the bus operators cared about was sales. For any business, the core is sales. So these bus guys told us, look, we don't really care about whether a customer goes from Bangalore to Hyderabad. All that we are worried about is we have 58 seats. Will all these seats get booked? That's all that we are bothered about. So then this guy understood, okay, we have a problem, that is we couldn't get tickets from Bangalore to Hyderabad, but the bus operators have a different problem. What is the problem? They need to sell all their tickets. So they merged this together, and then they came up with a beautiful website wherein the customer will book ticket from the front, and there were back-end guys who would call and then to different bus operators and then book the tickets on their behalf. So for the bus operators, their tickets were getting booked. So the vacant seats were slowly reducing, which means their sales were going up. So that was a win-win for operators, and also for customers. They were able to see, okay, how many seats are available in just one screen. And they slowly gained momentum. Slowly all the bus operators, came to their, platform. Everybody got registered with their platform, with their website. And when he explains it, he has told the story in n number of platforms. And when he was explaining, he said that their target was to have 100 bus operators registered in their website within 5 years. Within 5 years, he wanted to register 100 bus operators. But what happened was, within a year, they were able to register 400 operators, because there was a problem. He saw the opportunity, and then he took the next steps. He was persistent to solve that problem, because one guy got stranded in Bangalore who couldn't go to Hyderabad. He created this whole application, this whole website of booking tickets online. This is none other than Fanindra Sama from Redbus. Many of you would have used Redbus, but very hardly we really try and seek and understand what happened behind this. How did it even start? What was the problem that this website was trying to solve? As I mentioned, the problem was somebody got stranded. The opportunity was to create something so that nobody really gets stranded, or none of the buses go vacant from Bangalore to Hyderabad when there is a need. So these things got solved with this website called redbus.in. And if you're really interested, go and check out. There are a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of business reviews or business cases around what happened to this, how this evolved. So he's a co-founder, Fanindra Sharma, but he's the one who started off this thing. You see how beautifully things unfold. And going back to a successful person, it isn't always about making money. It isn't about power, but it is about creating value, so that at the end of the day, you can feel happy about yourself. You had to do something. There was a problem. There was an opportunity. He stepped in and then he solved it. Okay. So we'll go to the second example of the same. Seizing opportunities. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about a close friend of mine. I'm not going to take his name for obvious reasons. He's a good friend of mine. So when I was doing my UG, he was my roommate. And he was a parentless child. So when he was born, when he was very young, he he didn't have his parents. So both his mother and father were not there with him. Um, so he grew up without parents, and he grew up with his uncle. His maternal uncle was hardly 3 or 4 years elder to him, but by the time he lost his parents, his uncle was he was old enough to take care of my friend. Though the age difference was very less, he was a responsible uncle to my friend. And then he fed him, and then he enrolled him in some government school, and then they grew up together, with helps from some relatives or so, and then they somehow grew up together. They used to do odd jobs, n number of jobs. So by the time he joined UG, he was like a couple of years elder to me, or more than that, and he had done so much of work. When I interacted with him, I got to know like around 19-20 jobs. By the time he came to UG, he had already done like 19 to 20 jobs, and everything was labor work. So one thing was very clear right from the start was he wanted to achieve something. uh, you know Even though he was studying, even though he went to schools, he was working, and then making money to make his ends meet. And I was really intrigued by, okay, somebody who's struggling to make his ends meet, how did he even join college? And then he told this fascinating news that his own uncle, so they had a conversation. So this uncle told, look, all this while I have, whatever I earn, I invested in you. And now I'm going to do it for one last time. And this time around, I want you to continue your undergrad education. Though you stopped 12th like a couple of years back, I want you to go to college and then finish some degree. While you are studying, I will make money, I will do some work, I will make money for you, and then I will send it to you. Right? Imagine this for a minute. Somebody who is just hardly 2 or 3 years elder to you, showing so much of maturity and then taking responsibility on themselves. Right? That's mainly because he saw something in my friend. He saw that this guy is destined to study. He's not supposed to be a labor. He has to get education so that he can reach up high in life. So that uncle said to my friend, okay, look, I'm going to invest on you. You go and study, meanwhile I work back at my house. And this guy, these people are my friend, his uncle and all his friends. They are growing up in Chennai suburbs. So their friends are all they come from different family backgrounds. Mostly they come from not so privileged houses. So they don't have very good background, honestly. So my friend joins this college along with me, and he becomes my roommate as well. uh, so so from my friend's perspective, if you think at or if you see what his life is, he doesn't have parents. He doesn't have friends who are rich or influential or anything. He's got an uncle who's earning for him. Again, he's just doing some labor work. He's not an officer or anything. He's barely meeting his ends, and then he's helping my friend too. So the situations are not very bright for him, right? He doesn't even know whether his uncle will be able to make money to spend for his fee or the next semester fee. So all these things are looming around him. But my friend, he saw the opportunity that, okay, these 3 years, somehow God has put in his life. I want to make it count. So he saw this opportunity. Maybe this is the only opportunity that he would get in his entire life to study in college. He wanted to make the most of it. What he did, he was so sincere in his studies. And in my room, we were like 4 or 5. And especially, when it was closer to semester, he was the one who would always wake up very early in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then he would study. He would keep studying and studying and studying, because he went to a Tamil medium school. It was very difficult for him to cope up with English, but he put a lot of effort towards English language, or whatever we studied. Since we did BSc Computer Science, not everything was available in Tamil. Everything had to be English. So he put a lot of extra effort to study every subject. And also NCC. So in our college we had NCC, and NCC also, it requires you to be physically available for a lot of things. You have to strain yourself physically to be available for certain things, and he did that. He used to wake up early in the morning. He used to wear those dresses, and then he used to participate in a lot of things very religiously, because he didn't want to miss out on anything. In 3 years, whatever the college offered to him, he wanted to grab them with both his hands, so that at some point of time, when something comes up, he should be able to use whatever experience he gains in these 3 years. And he completed his graduation with good marks. And then right now, he's working in a company in Chennai. He's earning decent. He has a good family. He's a father. He's a responsible father of 2 kids. He's a loving and a caring husband. And is he a successful man? The answer is definitely yes. It's definitely a yes. Because when he goes back to sleep, he knows that whatever opportunity was thrown at him, he didn't take it lightly. Whatever situation he was thrown at, he didn't take it lightly. He always found opportunities, and then he made the most of it. He did his education right. And whatever labor work that he did earlier, it also put in his mind that education is important, because a labor's work is much more difficult. That's why getting a degree and then getting a 9 to 5 job is very important. So though he had that experience, those bad and strainful experience in the past, it helped him to value his undergraduation, his education. He put in so much of effort into it, and then he came out really well. And even now I'm very proud of him. uh, that's why I'm stating about it, because a guy who comes from sort of slum, doesn't have parents, doesn't have anybody to support, doesn't have good education background, he stood up for himself. Whenever there was an opportunity, he grabbed with both the hands, and then now he's living a life, a decent life. He meets his ends for the family. And also he has a good relationship with his uncle. His uncle is also doing fine now. And did he seize opportunities? Yes, he did. Were there problems? Yes. Was there an opportunity? Yes. Did he seize it? Yes. Is he successful? Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about just one last person, and with that, we're going to wrap this session. And that is important as well. And if you look at the examples that I'm quoting, these are like different. They're very different. Like the first guy was an entrepreneur. He was a businessman. So he founded an idea. He created an opportunity, and he's creating a lot of values for a lot of people. And this friend of mine, is he touching a large community? I don't think so. But is he creating value for his own family? Yes. For his own relatives? Yes. For himself? Yes. Whatever he was capable of, he gave absolutely his best. And yes, he's a successful guy. And then one last thing, which is again very different from the previous two. Many of you would have seen this video in social media, definitely. So this is going to be a refresher to you, but it suits very, very well for our topic today, like seizing opportunities. So there is a station called Wangani in Mumbai, and there is a switchman. He's a pointsman there. So this guy, one day, so what is his job? His job is basically to ensure that the platform is clear so that whenever train passes, no accidents happen. So one time when he was walking along the platform, he suddenly saw a small guy, a small boy. He was just 6 years old. He fell onto the platform, and his mother, who was nearby in the platform, she was shouting, like, shouting his name, Sahil, Sahil, come up, come up, come up. But that guy was small, so small and fragile, he couldn't come up. And the problem was, there was a train coming from the opposite direction at good speed, because it wasn't stopping at the station, it was coming at pretty rapid speed. And now there is this guy, who's this points man, walking in the platform. He's watching everything right in front of his eyes. There is a woman, there is a boy, there is a train that is coming. And now he has to quickly decide, was there a problem? Yes. What's the problem? There is a small guy on the track who might lose his life. There is a woman who might lose her lovely child. And this guy saw an opportunity. He had to make a decision. And then he made the right decision. What did he do? He ran towards the child, and then he threw the child onto the platform and then quickly rolled over to the platform. And all these events happened within a matter of 13 seconds, 13 seconds. That was the time frame of that opportunity was in seconds, very, 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 very small. And he rushed to that boy, he lifted him up, he threw him on the platform, and then he rolled himself onto the platform, and then the train passed away. You see the value of opportunity. He risked his own life to solve a problem, to seize that opportunity. When he was giving interview, he was saying that, in my mind, my first thought was, yes, I have to save that boy, but also, will I be able to do it? Because I'm risking my own life. And when this happened, he had a very small boy back at home. He was just months old, but he risked his life to save this Sahil's life, who was just 6 years old. And he didn't have the time to think about rewards. Within the 13 seconds, he was not imagining himself, okay, if I do this, people will notice, somebody's going to take a video, and then I'm going to get rewarded. No, he didn't care about anything. There was a problem, there was an opportunity, he just plunged into it within seconds. Sometimes, the opportunities that comes our way, they don't last long. They don't last long. The lifetime of the opportunity at times is very, very small. It is up to us to have a clear mindset, to have a clear view, to seize that opportunity. Because if we are so focused about ourselves and the problems that are surrounding us, we will miss the opportunities that come our way. So we should have that right mindset to always look out for opportunities. Whenever this life throws opportunities at us, we should grab them and then make full use of it, like how Mayur Shelke did. He was a very, very, very ordinary switchman. He was not a big officer. He was not a superhero. But that day, when that opportunity came in front of him, he went for it. And then after that, he got a lot of awards. Lot of politicians and big businessmen, they facilitated him for his brave work. Opportunity and how you make use of it. It makes a lot of difference. Many times in our lives, we are so focused on our problems. As I stated in the very first slide, the aim of the session. A lot of times we are just bogged down by our own problems. அந்த பிரச்சனை, இந்த பிரச்சனை, வீட்டுல சரியில்லை, சரியா படிக்கல, ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் சரியா அமையல, எனக்கு படிச்சாலும் ஏற மாட்டேங்குது. So many problems. Teachers சரியா எடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. We just keep looking at it. We forget what are the opportunities that are around us. Who can teach so much to us. They can teach a lot. பைபிள்ல ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு, ஒரு எறும்பை கூட வந்து அற்பமா எண்ணக்கூடாது, ஏன்னா எறும்பு கிட்ட இருந்து படிக்கிறதுக்கு நமக்கு நிறைய இருக்கு. ஈவன் ant can teach us a lot of things. You have to trust that. நிறைய விஷயங்கள்ல வந்து we can learn from others. Just that our mindset should be clear. That we'll have to look out for opportunities. An interaction with somebody is an opportunity. Attending a class is an opportunity. It's a privilege. Hardly 10%, 12% of people are actually going for colleges in India. Look at that number. How privileged you are. Higher studies. Very few people are going. So you have that opportunity. No? Life has given that opportunity to you. So that you get educated, you attend colleges, you do higher studies. Not many have this opportunity at all. So when you're given with this opportunity, how do you seize it? How do you make use of it? Make it count. It is not always about us. Then all the 3 stories that I told today, it wasn't always about a community or self. No, it was about creating value to somebody. When you seize an opportunity, definitely it's not about you. Obviously you will get the rewards, but what is more important is creating value for somebody. நம்மளால 4 பேர் நல்லா இருப்பான் நம்மள அறியாமலே, and in turn we will be blessed. And that is what life always guarantees. Think of anything, any small thing that is around. For example, let's say a nail clipper, right? Yeah, nail cutter, everybody uses it, right? Think, how somebody thought of it. Before nail cutter, somebody would have used a blade. They would have hurt themselves. They saw a problem. Okay, if I cut nails like this, I'm going to hurt my finger. I'm going to lose a lot of blood. And like me, there are millions of others who are getting hurt. There is a problem. How do I solve this? Keeps thinking about it, comes up with a solution. Okay, let's have a clipper so that it's safe. It doesn't hurt our finger so that we don't bleed anymore. It's not about him. He created value for crores and crores of people in the world. So many generations are using nail clippers. Did he reap the benefits? Of course, yes. Financially, maybe. Fame, maybe. Till today, we are talking about him. Right? We don't really think about these small things and learn from it. Every product or everything that you see around you, somebody saw a problem, somebody sees that opportunity, and then they created value for everybody. And I want to close my session with this. Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. For instance, let me say, you had an opportunity to plant a tree and then you fail to do it. Nobody can count the cost at all, because you never know how many fruits it would have produced, how many trees from that fruits they could have created. You can never count. You will never know how many people would have sat under the shade of that tree. You will never know. You can never count the cost. Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. So all the youth out here, I just want to encourage you today, whenever an opportunity comes, or whatever situation you are in, whatever opportunity life has already given you, make the most of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful the time you have taken just drifted so fast, and it was so encouraging and overwhelming to sit and listen to all what you said, so practical in our life, day-to-day life. Thank you so much for it. Dear participants, now the floor is open for you to ask any questions that is on your mind. that so James will be there to answer your queries. As for me, I would like to start with this, sir. Definitely, நீங்க சொன்ன ஒவ்வொரு story life, the way you put it forward was so beautiful. ஒரு practical-ஆ நம்ம யோசிக்கும்படிக்கு அதை கொடுத்திருக்கு. We are so used to thinking only about ourselves. But today, இன்னைக்கு வந்து the beautiful thing that you told us is ஒரு ப்ராப்ளமா பார்க்காம அந்த ப்ராப்ளம் தோ இட் இஸ் அ தார்ன், அதுக்கு மேல ஒரு பியூட்டிஃபுல் ரோஸ் இருக்கு, அதை நீங்க எடுத்து ஸ்மெல் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ற ஒரு பியூட்டிஃபுல் வேய அழகா சொன்னீங்க சார். தேங்க்யூ சோ மச். நாங்க ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் நாங்க அதையே யோசிச்சு அதுலயே டிப்ரெஷனுக்குள்ள போய் நம்ம ஒரு யூஸ்லெஸ் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு வாழ்க்கையில நம்ம இப்ப வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்கும் போது ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி வரும்போது இட் இஸ் அ ஸ்டெப்பிங் ஸ்டோன் அப்படின்னு நம்ம ஏன் நினைக்க கூடாது அப்படின்னு நீங்க மைண்ட் ஓபன் பண்ணி விட்டதுக்கு ஐ ரியலி தேங்க்யூ. எஸ்பெஷலி இந்த யூத் டவுன் தேர், அவங்களோட பியர் ப்ரெஷர்ஸ், அவங்களோட பீப்புள் அரவுண்ட் தெம் கேன் புல் தெம் டவுன், கேன் ட்ராக் தெம் டவுன். ஆனா இப்படி ஒரு மைண்ட் செட்ல கூட நம்ம யோசிக்கலாம், தெர் இஸ் another way out அப்படின்னு யோசிக்கும் போது it's a great way that you have spoken. And I'm thankful at this age also I was able to sit and listen, and maybe it would have changed a different course of my life if I had heard you a couple of years ago, even before I started my career. But even not too late to now I think I can still move forward with this beautiful stories, real life stories that you imparted. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sir, this is Dr. Prema Joshua, a part of we4youth.com. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, as pointed out by Mrs. Majula Jaykumar, all the while, I think nearly 30 to 35 minutes that you spoke, I stuck on to what you were trying to teach, to speak to the audience. Obviously, I don't fall under the category of youth, but I have 2 young daughters. But I would like to tell one testimony on the quote that you started with. You said about who is a successful person from John Wooden, and that is exactly correct. From my part, I would like to say, because we Christians always stand for testimony. All the while, I am a professor of a self-finance college, and I tried for aided college as well as government arts college, but I failed to get. And all the while, I had a guilt in me, thinking that why is it that I had never got an opportunity, whereas I know for sure I can do my part as a teacher well. But now, after you told me who is a successful person at the end of the day, when he feels that he has done his best. So today, when you spoke on that and you started with that quote, I thought, thank God that hereafter I'm not going to feel guilty. I have realized that I have put in more than the others, those who are drawing, say, 5-10 times the salary that I get. I'm happy about it. God, you have given me an opportunity to teach, and I do my best. Thank you, sir, for making me realize this.
Thank you. So encouraging to hear from you.
Thank you, sir.
We Indians are very poor in asking questions, especially our youth, because I know I was a youth sometime back. I did my schooling and colleges. Even I very rarely asked any questions, especially in front of everybody. So in one-on-ones, we are so free to ask a lot of questions. So even on social media, I have the same name, James Melwyn. So in case somebody has any question to ask, you can reach out to me. You can also contact we4youth organizers, so that they can direct those questions to me as well. So I'm always available to answer your questions.
எனக்கு ஒரு டவுட் இருக்கு. என்னன்னா, நிறைய ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ், நிறைய கஷ்டமே இல்லாம பிள்ளைங்களை வளர்க்கும் போது அவங்க வந்து அவங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கிற ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப they don't see the value in it. கரெக்டா? அவங்க வந்து ஒருவேளை கஷ்டத்துல வளர்றவங்க தான் வந்து அந்த ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸை வந்து ப்ரெஷியஸா நினைக்கிறாங்க, அதை வந்து ஒரு ப்ரிவிலேஜா நினைக்கிறாங்க. மிச்சவங்களாம் அந்த they just take it for granted. அதனால நிறைய இந்த சிட்டிஸ்ல எல்லாம் பாக்குறோம், பேரண்ட்ஸ் வந்து அவங்களை அவ்வளவு நல்லா வளர்க்குறாங்க, அவ்வளவு ப்ரொவைட் பண்றாங்க, பட்
சில்ட்ரன் வந்து படிக்கிறதுக்கோ அல்லது அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கோ அதை வந்து அவங்க அதை வேல்யூ பண்றது கிடையாது. ஒருவேளை ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் கம்மியா இருந்ததுன்னா அப்படி இருக்குமோ அப்படின்னு தெரியல.
வெரி வெரி வேலிடான ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். நான் என் ஃப்ரெண்டோட ஸ்டோரி சொல்லி சொன்னேன். அவன் வாழ்க்கையில அவ்வளவு கஷ்டப்பட்டனால அந்த ஒரு அண்டர் கிராஜுவேஷன் எஜுகேஷனே அவன் வந்து பார்த்த விதமே ரொம்ப டிஃப்ரெண்டா இருந்துச்சு. He was so thankful, for that opportunity. நாங்க யூஜி சேர்ந்த நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து அந்த மைண்ட் செட் கிடையாது. சரி, எல்லாருமே ஸ்கூல் முடிச்சுட்டு எல்லாரும் காலேஜ் போகணும் மைண்ட் செட்ல தான் நாங்க வந்தோம். பட் அவன் ஒரு 3 வருஷம் போய் வெளியே எல்லாம் வேலை பார்த்துட்டு வந்தனால அவனுக்கு அந்த 3 வருஷம் யூஜி டிகிரியோட அருமை அவனுக்கு வந்து நல்லா புரிஞ்சுது. ஸோ நிறைய நேரத்துல பேரண்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணிடுறோம், ஓவர் டூ பண்ணிடுறோம். எனக்கு வந்து இப்போ ஒரு 1 year old தான் இருக்குது. பட் ஆனா இப்பவே நிறைய ஒய்ஃப்ட்ட சொல்லுவேன், எனக்கு ஒரு அதட்ட கூட வந்து எனக்கு வர மாட்டேங்குது. ஆனா தெரியும் அது தப்பு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, பிகாஸ் we overdo a lot of times. அவங்கள வந்து ரொம்ப பொத்தி பாதுகாத்து நம்ம வளர்க்கறனால they feel entitled for everything. ஆமா, நீ படிக்க வைக்க வேண்டியது உங்களுடைய பொறுப்பு தான், காலேஜ் அனுப்ப வேண்டியது உங்களுடைய பொறுப்பு தான், எனக்கு ஹாஸ்டல் ஃபீஸ் கட்டி எனக்கு எல்லாம் பண்ண வேண்டியது உங்களுடைய பொறுப்பு தான் அப்படின்னு என்டைட்டில்டா ஃபீல் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிடுறாங்க. ஸோ எனக்கு இது சொல்யூஷன் டைரக்டா தெரியல. பட் என்னுடைய ஃபேமிலியில ஒரு விஷயம் என்ன செஞ்சாங்க அப்படின்னா, சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து they involved us in every decision. ஸோ ஒரு ஸ்கூல் போகணும்னா கூட அந்த காஸ்ட்டை கவுண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு வந்து சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க. தம்பி, நீ இந்த ஸ்கூல்ல படிச்சுன்னா எங்களுக்கு இவ்வளவு செலவாகும், நாங்க இவ்வளவு கடன் வாங்க வேண்டி இருக்கும், மேபி நீ இந்த ஸ்கூல்ல படிச்சீங்கன்னா எங்களுக்கு வந்து மேபி சீப்பரா இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ல நான் என்ன பண்ணேன்னா, யூஜி பண்ணும்போது ஐ வாஸ் ஏபிள் டு டூ சம் பார்ட் டைம் ஒர்க். ஸோ மேபி அந்த ஒரு கல்ச்சருக்குள்ள வந்து நம்ம இந்தியன் ஃபேமிலிஸ் வந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். தட்ஸ் மோர் ஆஃப் பார்ட்டிசிபேட்டிவ் டெசிஷன் மேக்கிங் அண்ட் சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே அதை டீச் பண்றது. அஃப்கோர்ஸ் அதை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் செகண்ட் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல பண்ண முடியாது. பட் இது ஒரு 7th 8th அந்த ஏஜ்ல வந்து பிள்ளைங்களுக்கு இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So that they appreciate whatever is given to them.
I would like to say that parents also play a vital role in not only teachers or not only the school or college, but I think nama parents as a parent nama the pillailukku to tell them the right from the wrong. Maybe avangaloda ipa, but right opportunity choose பண்ணிட்டு, like how you said, right track la nama போகும்போது value யோசிக்கிறச்ச, then it is great. I would like to share just one small thing before I stop. I work in a bank here, and there was a couple who walked into my house and they were childless for many years. Appo engitta பேசிட்டு இருக்கும்போது they said they don't have children for more than 12 years. Then I remembered an orphanage close to our church, so I just went over to this church, to the orphanage, and I just asked them, do they give children for orphanage, for the parents? And that sister said yes. So I seized that opportunity and I acted as a middleman there, and I brought these parents here. My aim was a parent gets a child and a child gets a parent. And I was not doing anything, but I was happy that they both were happy. So I just started off with one child. And by the grace of God, today I have helped 8 childless children to get parents. And the beauty about the whole thing is they never did a home study because I was intervening in it. So this, there was no value attached to what I was doing. I was only looking that opportunity that I did out of my way. I never gained anything out of this, but somebody else gained out of it. The child got a parent and the parents were happy they had a child. So namakku ellathukkume opportunities life la oru naal knock panna, every day it knocks. In the alavukku we have to grasp it and solely it is so beautiful. And I'm still bubbling inside. What you spoke is not, it was so much that I'm just relating to everything in my life, and I truly appreciate today neenga seidirukka wonderful. And I want to thank these beautiful organizers. They are doing the same thing. They are not gaining anything out of this, what they are taking, this 1 or 2. It is all sacrificial that they are passing it on to somebody to be benefited out of this, giving their valuable time, which is so important. Thank you so much for this opportunity that I didn't want to lose or see. I wanted to seize this opportunity to tell the youth here, you can make a difference in this world that is coming up, and you can shine for the value of others. Thank you.
Sir, this is Turin Martina from Holy Cross College. We find a lot of challenges in motivating students nowadays, sir. How much ever we try to tell them, like it's not the days that we were, like any opportunity we give them. Be a simple example, just to write in the magazine, they have such a lot of talents. If we keep on telling them, we give them reminders, we give them a lot of ideas, suggestions, but still we feel we are not able to motivate them, or we are not able to make them come to the frontiers. They always they don't want to come from their comfort zone. We find it very difficult, especially in college, among college students. So any suggestions or any tips you would like to tell us where we could help them seize that opportunity? There are such a lot of opportunities in front of them, but they are very hesitant, especially youth today are very hesitant.
Yeah. So one important thing would be to help them visualize the value that they will get out of it. நிறைய நேரத்தில் அது வந்து ரொம்ப கஷ்டமான ஒரு காரியம் தான். பட் ஆனால் என்னன்னா, அந்த பெயிண்டிங் த விஷன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இது நீ செய்யறனால வேர் வில் இட் டேக் யூ டு பி, ஒன்னு எங்க கொண்டு போய் இது நிப்பாட்டும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு பிக்சரை நம்ம வந்து கலர்ஃபுல்லா அவங்க மைண்ட்ல நம்ம வந்து ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணி அவங்க மைண்ட்ல ஏத்திட்டோம்னா எவ்ரிபடி வில் ஸ்டார்ட் மூவிங் டுவர்ட்ஸ் இட். ஜென்ரலா வந்து நீங்க கார்பரேட்ஸ்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா வந்து இதை ரொம்ப நல்லா பண்ணுவாங்க. பிகாஸ் தே ஹேவ் வெரி கிளியர் விஷன். நம்ம கம்பெனி 2025ல இத்தனை பில்லியன் ரெவன்யூ நம்ம வந்து உருவாக்கி ஆகணும். ஸோ நம்ம இதுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் பண்ண போறோம் அப்படின்னு எல்லாருமே அந்த ரேஸ்ல வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணிடுவோம். ஓகே, நம்ம கம்பெனி நம்ம செஞ்சாகணும் அப்படின்றது. ஸோ மேபி தட் இஸ் ஒன் எலிமெண்ட் தட் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் might get attracted to. அதை நம்ம பெயிண்ட் பண்ற விதத்துல இருக்குது. how we can do that. ஏன்னா நான் காலேஜ் படிக்கும்போது it was I went through same thing. ஏன்னா மெயினா வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா லேசினஸ் தான். இதுல என்ன கிடைக்க போகுது, இதுல என்ன வேல்யூ இருக்கு, இதை பண்ணி நமக்கு என்ன பிரயோஜனம், அப்படியே தான் மைண்ட் ஓடிட்டே இருக்குமே தவிர எதுக்கு நான் எஃபர்ட் போட்டு இதை செய்யணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வந்து தோணவே தோணாது. ஆனா அப்படி இருந்த நான் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு பார்ட் டைம் வேலைக்கு போனேன். காலேஜ் வேலை பெருசா பண்ணல, வந்து ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் பெருசா சீஸ் பண்ணல. பட் ஆனா ஒரு பார்ட் டைம் வேலைக்கு போனேன். அங்க ஏன் போனேன் அப்படின்னா வேல்யூ. அங்க எனக்கு கொடுக்குற ஒரு 1500 ரூபா வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு வேல்யூவா தெரிஞ்சது. இட் மேட் மீ சிக்னிஃபிகண்ட். ஓகே, நம்ம மாச கடைசியில 1500 ரூபா பண்ண போறோம், நம்ம செலவை நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு பிக்சர் வந்து என் மைண்டுக்குள்ள வந்த உடனே I went for that. So maybe painting that vision might be one thing that you can try. அது மேஜிக் மாதிரி ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகும்னு நான் சொல்லல, பட் அட்லீஸ்ட் யூ கேன் ட்ரை ன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். That's my 2 cents on it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That painting the vision is a very nice phrase that I would like to pass on to the youngsters whom I would meet in future. And one thing I've noticed is, but when we have an emotional bond that is, or a trust that is built, like for a handful of students we see, those who have passed out and still who are the current students who are with us, who really get attached maybe with some family problems. As you said in the first slide, I think it was situation, education and family background. அந்த மாதிரி அடிப்பட்ட பிள்ளைங்க, yes, when they have some sort of a niche somewhere and they try to come out and open out, like in colleges we have this mentor-mentee system. So some students who get attached to us and we have an emotional bond, like, so அந்த மாதிரி students, whatever we tell, maybe they are ready to accept and they try to give way to our thoughts. நம்ம சொல்லும் போது they at least they give a try. So I think that emotional connect is more needed nowadays. Youth are missing that, maybe in families, in other circles also, with them, and building a bond of a mutual bond of trust will really enhance relationships. And I think, as you say, at least for us, they will try to make use of that opportunity. So it was a wonderful session, sir. We felt very young, though we are in our middle ages. We felt very young, and we feel that we are not old enough. And yes, opportunities wait for us, and we pray and hope that every opportunity will be used by every one of us. And the session was really a very practical oriented one, and a session that made us think a lot. Thank you, Mr. James, Melwyn. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a pleasure to speak to you all, and
you,
even more happy that it's of some value to you all.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, thank you.
I first of all want to thank God Almighty for having given us this great opportunity today to listen to such a wonderful talk. I believe that each one of us at this point of our time, that we needed to hear this to alter our steps and move forward. I deem it a great privilege to render the vote of thanks today on this great esteemed platform. And in this great August gathering of all the youth and the youth of the elders session that we feel today, that Mr. Melwyn had made us younger. I thank you so much, sir, for this overwhelming, thought-provoking, beautiful message. Unlike sitting here, we felt like children listening to stories, and you took us through beautifully to look into each one of our lives. On behalf of We for Youth team, I express my heartfelt gratitude. At this tender young age, you are leading as a leader for so many, including us. Thank you so much for your wonderful speech, for the wonderful way you put it to us in just simple format. I also wish to thank all our organizers of this virtual webinar, the media team, and for giving us this beautiful evening to be a wonderful opportunity as well to pick up and make it a worthwhile opportunity to move forward, to look out not on our own selves, but for the benefit of others. And especially the way you said, selflessly to give it without expecting anything in return, but just value it for someone else. This is a need of the hour today. I thank you so much. I thank you all who have participated here. You may have come by force, but it was destined by God that you should be here. Many were invited, but you, the whole lot, were chosen. And you have been planned by God much before, so that you can seize this opportunity and make life a beautiful meaning and a tune in your lives. Finally, I want to thank everyone who made this evening a grand success for us. And I thank you once again, one and all, for all that we received today. Thank you so much.